right. Good morning, everybody. Today is the 1st of October, a Friday. It's the month of Halloween. Hope everyone's having a great morning. Tom, how you doing, man?
Just trying to get through the week. I had 2 tests this week, so now I'm in the part where I have to get my homework done for the beginning of the week next week.
Oh, gotcha. I assume you guys are on semesters.
Yeah, and we now that we're in October and it's October 1st, I get to go home for a couple days in like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, fall break.
Real nice.
Fall break, the dumbest ever break the colleges do. Yeah, fall break. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, and my fall break is going to be interesting because we usually got Friday, Monday off of like a weekend, but now they're doing Thursday, Friday, and I have 4 classes Friday, and I only have 1 class on Wednesday. So I'm going to go to my class on whatever Wednesday it is, then fly home, and then get a full Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home.
Yeah.
And then my class on the next Monday when classes restart is like in the late afternoon, so I can fly out Monday morning. So I'm going to get a solid 4 or 5 days at home, which is going to be real nice.
Yeah. Maybe we'll try and record like 6 future episodes just to get the good Wi-Fi.
I'll bring my stuff. Yeah.
No, I said
I'll bring my stuff.
I was just talking about the Wi-Fi. We'll get the Wi-Fi fixed. No, but I will say mine's been jumping out in and out last week. Last week we were doing a round table with King James Gospel for the Cavs. And so I had everyone set up on it. I had everything, and my Wi-Fi just cut out for the full hour. And they on basically our StreamYard basically just did a whole podcast by themselves. But because I just couldn't get back on, I was so mad. But yes, a lot of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, mostly college football, but we'll get into the NFL a bit and any kind of news really around the sports world briefly. Obviously, the big SEC games this weekend. We'll get into it. And I kind of wanted to start out because this relates back to college. I don't know how many people out there saw the Cincinnati Cincinnati Jacksonville game last night, but I think I've come to the conclusion that like I don't know if Trevor I can't remember if he signed a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal. I can't because the first round picks it's different. I think you have like 5 years. I don't know. I honestly don't think if their offensive line doesn't improve tremendously, and they get better weapons around him, I guess, then I just don't think he's going to survive yesterday. Like I was watching the second half of that game, and his body language was horrible, and I don't necessarily blame him for it, but his body language was horrible. He looks like he has no command of the huddle, which isn't a huge deal, but like it is a big deal if you're a quarterback. He has no command of the huddle. We kind of briefly went over it, and it kind of came up when his dad came out and said everything about like, oh, I don't think Trevor needs football to be happy in life. It might be true because like the guy I watched play quarterback last night, like just didn't want to be on the field. Like he looked like he didn't want to be on the field. And like I said, I don't blame him. I mean, Cam Robinson, I think is probably their best offensive lineman, and he plays left tackle, and he's terrible. And then to bring it full circle, and this is in no way related to Matt Nagy because Matt Nagy should be fired. That game plan was terrible, but whatever. But this is kind of why, like, you almost it's not the worst idea to sit your quarterback because we've seemed to have come into an era where if you're a first round pick, you're probably starting by week 3, and a lot of times I believe if you're good, if you're good, you're good, and if you're going to make it, you're going to make it from day one. But I think teams might look at this in the future and be like, I don't know if it's going to change the draft because obviously the quarterback's the most important position, but like if the Jaguars are going to pick high again next year, I mean, they have no weapons, so they would have to go defense. Not their defense is good, but they have to go offense. So you'd think maybe like a wide receiver or a defensive end, but not defensive end, a running back. But he just looks like he's not going to survive. Urban Meyer, I liked Urban Meyer. He's a great college coach. I have no idea why he went to the NFL. The things that made him successful in college were specific to college, which was basically recruiting and like bringing together egos, holding egos together. So it's hard to see it because I know I said it last time. Like I thought Trevor Lawrence would come out and be just like Andrew Luck. He hasn't looked good in any game this year so far. It's just the worst rookie class so far of, I don't know, the last 10 years. Or you guys have to kind of say even like the last 5 years, just because even 10 years ago they weren't drafting quarterbacks no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, this group just looks bad. And I thought Trevor Lawrence would do anything. I mean, Urban Meyer's ruining him. That organization is ruining him. But like I said, I don't think he also has the drive to like that he loves football like a lot of other people do.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you talk about like, benching the quarterbacks or whatever, because I was like, a lot of people make the argument that, oh, he's the number one pick, he should be able to start right away. So was Baker. He sat for 3.5 games until he was ready.
Yeah, and
Gardner Minshew is a serviceable quarterback. He was the guy that was putting up numbers last year, and it's crazy to me that they're like, oh, we're going to send him out there with no help, no line, and no support on defense, and trading away his best corner to help make stops. Like for a tight end, which yes, they needed the tight end, but he didn't do anything last night.
I mean, also side note that Carolina, whenever J.C. Horn, I don't know if it's next year. Carolina is going to be good if Carolina is just going to continue to be good, I think, because I mean that's the 5 years down the road. That's probably one of the best corner duos in the NFL if they both pan out, which obviously we don't know, but they both look like. I mean, J.C. Horn looked like he knew what he was doing on the field, and C.J. Henderson, I just don't think he wanted to be in Jacksonville, and I don't blame him. I know I always bring up like the Browns the last 20 years, but it's really the only thing I've known. Like you go into free agency every year and you're like, maybe we get somebody, maybe we can get somebody. It's even like any Cleveland sports, really. It's the Cavs as well. But yeah, I think you should never name like a rookie guy the starter unless you're absolutely certain you have an offensive line that's going to keep him protected. Like you can't get sacked 5 times every game. So that that's just a new NFL coach making that decision. Like the college game is different. I mean, so Urban Meyer, I don't know if this is how he thinks, but like he probably thinks like, oh, I'll just play the freshman quarterback because he's the best freshman quarterback in the country, not realizing that the offensive line in front of him is terrible. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. Go ahead.
I just want to add it. I think that's exactly how he is thinking, because we heard him already say playing in the NFL is like playing Alabama every week or coaching against Alabama every week. So like there's that factor, but also at the same time, like I don't know if you were paying as much attention to the play calling as I was last night, because this was the first time I've actually sat down and watched a complete Jacksonville Jaguars game this year. He's running read options 3 times in a row inside the 5.
Thank you. And
like you're asking your star quarterback and your franchise quarterback to take the ball in himself instead of James Robinson, who's literally known for being and was going to be used originally as your goal line back,
and had a great game last night for the most part.
He did. He had a great game. Proved to everyone that they really didn't need Travis Etienne.
I would almost understand it if it was a Jalen Hurts out there, like they picked up some guy in the 2nd or 3rd round and they need to bridge it, and then they would have drafted the offense. Maybe that should be the thing going forward. Like maybe you draft that offensive lineman 1st overall, and then you bridge the gap with the year by drafting like a 2nd or 3rd round quarterback just so he's serviceable. And you bridge that gap into the next year where you hopefully get the number 1 pick. Obviously, that's tanking and kind of things like that. So I don't really want to get into that. But it's just, I mean, we've seen it with, and the thing that sucks is one of the rookies that I really want to see, I really want to see Trey Lance run the San Francisco 49ers offense. I think he would be perfect for it. I think he's going to be very good doing it. I do think, and shockingly, Kyle Shanahan made the right decision, even though I don't know how long it's going to hold out for him. But also, in the other fact, Kyle Shanahan looks at all these other rookie quarterbacks out there that are just utterly, I mean, Zach Wilson has had flashes. Mac Jones has had flashes. Trevor Lawrence hasn't had flashes. Justin Fields really hasn't had flashes either. But so, I mean, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm looking across the rest of the NFL, and I'm like, there's no way I'm putting Trey Lance in for a full game, just because I probably have a Super Bowl caliber team, so I really only need a quarterback that can just manage the game, really, not make mistakes like a rookie mistakes, Lance would. But so it's just everyone thought this class was going to be so good, and I don't think Trevor Lawrence will end up being the worst out of the group. But I don't know. And the last thing I
really see it.
Oh, absolutely. You could see it on his face. He's not having fun. You could see it. He doesn't enjoy going to the huddle. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know what I was on a story about something, but I forgot it. That's fine that we can get going. So today instead of today in sports or trivia, I decided we'd do something different. I believe this is a Netflix documentary. If you don't have Netflix at this point, well, you know what? I can't really say that because I just pay for all of them because I just feel like I need all of them. So it's whatever. I'm sure 90% of people do that as well. So I think it's on Netflix, or you can probably find it illegally online somewhere. So whatever. It's called The Identity Theft of Mitch Mustaine. Tom, you were probably a little too young for this, and I was even kind of young for it. Mitch Mustaine was a quarterback, grew up in Arkansas. He was the first player ever to win the Gatorade and the Powerade National Player of the Year honors. He was a quarterback. I think I said that. Gatorade National Player of the Year and Powerade National Player of the Year, for 2 years in a row as a junior, as a senior. He was a 5-star recruit. At the time, blew away any other previous recruit, the best they'd ever seen. Whatever. So he's from Arkansas. He commits to Arkansas. He gets to Arkansas his freshman year. They're pretty set. So he's supposed to be. So he was going to redshirt his freshman year, and or I don't know if he was going to redshirt, but he wasn't going to play his freshman year unless he needed to. And then the first game of the year, they're beating the shit out of somebody, and they bring him in, and on his first play, 60 ran a read option or a quarterback bootleg, probably in the 90s, whatever that was. Quarterback bootleg, 60-yard touchdown run, and then after that, it was just all downhill for him. And this ties into Trevor Lawrence too. It just comes back to he just didn't love the game, and that's nothing against him. Sometimes you're good at things that you just don't like being good at. So it's like I said, I think it's on Netflix. It gives you a pretty good look into the dirtiness of college football, whether it be. I mean, hopefully a lot of that's over with the NIL stuff now, but. The dirtiness of recruiting, the tension in recruiting between different coaches and things like that, and it just kind of shows you that there are these superstar athletes, and I say it all the time. I'm if I was 6'2", I'd be in the NBA, I'd be in the NFL, whatever. But that's because I love to play sports, and I understand that people just sometimes especially if you've been touted as the next superstar since you were 14 years old. By the time you get to if you get to the NFL, by the time you get to the NFL, you're 24, you're 25. It's been a long 10-year road because there's been so much expectation on you. So I don't know, but I believe I believe it's on Netflix. If it's not, just search The Identity Theft of Mitch Mustaine, Mustaine. Yeah, in Google, it'll come up wherever it is, but I think it's on Netflix. Like I said, it's good though. It's good. It's it gives you kind of an inside sight, and it kind of lets you know that there are just some of these athletes are just regular people that, they want to make money, but they just do it. They do it to make money, not just because they're good at it and they love it. So, It's very interesting. It's very good. I liked it. So whatever. There's not a lot of current events to go on other than promoting our own fantasy show on Sunday. Once again, we'll be going live at 11 a.m. On Sunday morning. We're plugging our own show on our other show.
Yes, sir.
Come check us out. We had Corey was his name, right?
Corey, yes.
Yeah, Corey on last week. He will not be in this week, most likely, but we'll see. But he'll be making appearances here and there. He was great, awesome as hell last week. Once again, it's great having you two there because I just go from my hip, shoot from the hip. You guys don't. But then also as a little treat to everyone, even though I dominated my NFL bets last week, and you'll be able to hear about it. We do have my buddy Jake, who works for me, Flurry. He'll be coming on to, give out some betting advice, gambling advice on Sunday morning, and also get into a little bit of DFS, because I know we said that we get into it, and we usually end up going along a lot anyways, but it's something that I definitely kind of want to get into, and he knows, I would say, probably at least a little bit more than either one of you, either me or you do. So yeah, he'll be in there at some point, probably Sunday morning. Anytime we have guests, I'll tweet them out when they're on, things like that. But yeah, so definitely check us out. 11 a.m. Sunday morning. It will be on the YouTube. It'll be on Tom's Facebook profile and my Twitter streaming. So yeah, definitely that. And then the only other thing that I really saw, there's baseball, but it's not the Mets, so I don't really care. It's definitely not the Gindians, whatever. I don't know. The Red Sox, Yankees, I can't go down this rabbit hole of just talking about how we can't I can talk about the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm a humongous sports fan, and there's the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, one of the best rivalries ever. This week, I don't know when they're playing. I know that they're playing for the playoffs, the AL East or whatever. They're playing the fact that I don't even have an inkling of an ounce to watch that game just shows you how far baseball has fallen. Just because, and that's the other thing. I am on ESPN all day. I don't know, that if they're playing, is this a clinching game? Is this a series, 3-game series? So, like I said, I don't need to go down this rabbit hole again. Tom, you can if you want to, but, baseball, once again, and I think I'll try to just end up saying this to you until I die, just be better. Just be better. I just don't get it. I don't get how they're so stupid in the media department. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I just don't really care for the MLB unless it's the Mets or another team or game I'm going to. I want to get excited about the Angels, but the Angels got punched out, because I really do, because Mike Trout's a Jersey guy, so I've liked him for a little while now, and then I liked Shohei before the season, and now they're doing good and he's playing well. And I wanted to see them play together, but they didn't end up playing together because of injury, which is fine. I get it. But I want to get excited about a team, and I'm not excited seeing the same 7 or 8 teams in each, what are they, conferences still? Each league, because there's national and American. I just don't get excited seeing the same 7 or 8 teams on each side. It's not fun. It's not entertaining.
Yeah, and it doesn't help baseball at all that, I guess I don't know really who the AL is in really this year, but Houston's still pretty good. The fact that the likelihood, because I would assume Houston's still pretty good, probably one of the favorites in the American League. The fact that the 2 teams that will most likely play in the World Series are baseball's most hated team in the Houston Astros, and
the second most hated team.
The Dodgers. It's the second most hated team also, that just completely shows how fucking dumb the NFL or MLB is, because there's no salary cap. That's what happens. Go ahead.
I was going to throw in there.
Go ahead. Go,
I think we're
go,
lagging.
go.
I was just gonna throw in there the Dodgers are spending like I think it was like $90 million more than the next team was the only thing I was gonna throw in there for you.
Yeah, and like I said, we could talk about this for like probably 2 full episodes, and just like maybe we'll have an episode it's where we just like maybe for like half an episode we just come up with new rules and new ideas for the Major League Baseball to attract people. And
the grievances of the MLB.
Yeah, and like I like it that like the Indians did it. They put I think I told you they put the right field porch in, and like it's like a bar area. You stand, you get a free beer if you buy the ticket, whatever. It's great. That's awesome. But then after this year, like there's been a record low attendance throughout the MLB, and a lot of them are all bad teams and things like that. And they're like, well, in the Mets, oh yeah, I guess this is the Mets, which is, I mean, this is comical. I can't believe this is real. They're whoever the president of baseball operations, I don't know. Someone came out in the organization starting next year, they're going to have like live music acts during the game and live comedy during the game, which obviously is just going to lead. If there is a comedian there, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? How many men on base that is running scoring position the Mets left on base in the third inning? Like you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I just don't understand it. I don't understand how you could have been around for so long and just not care. But my final point about attendance is like, you don't need to do the live music. You don't need to do the live comedy. Just have a good team and people will be excited and people will go to games.
Yeah, I the 2 games that I went to as well, like I understand you need to make things more expensive to pay these astronomical salaries and contracts. But at the same time, like there is a limit where you just got to be like, yeah, no. You know what I mean? Like when I was in the city itself, before we got to the game, I got I think it was a 12-pack of like Coors Light for like $20. Absolutely outrageous. It was a 12-pack of Coors Light for $20. It was atrocious. You go into the game, and I went and got a tall boy of Coors Light. So like one of the double stack cans or whatever, a tall boy. That alone was $14.75. Like one tall boy is worth 12 beers essentially. If you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like there is no planet you can tell me that is okay.
No. And considering those things sell for like 99 cents at the gas station. Yeah, I mean, we could exactly. I mean, when I was drinking and doing all that stuff, I did love to go to games. I did, but I would just sneak in my own alcohol. Like even as like a 25, 26-year-old, I'm like, I was just like, I'm not paying $15 for a drink, so I'm just not. So, but I mean, that also happens throughout all games.
I'm gonna have to get innovative.
Believe me, everyone I know. If anyone out there needs to know like how to hide alcohol to get into places, I might be the best person in the world to go to, because I did it for like 10 years very well. But yeah, so baseball, my last, just be better. Just be better.
Just be better.
And then last thing before we get into obviously college and the NFL and picks and shit like that. I'm sorry for saying shit. I should have said it there. I'm trying to get my mouth better. I'm trying to speak better. Ben Simmons again.
Whatever.
It's funny because I was talking to my King James Gospel guys, and they know way more about basketball than me, like whatever. And they were all like, "Oh no, yeah, I traded first round pick for Ben Simmons." Yeah, I traded first round pick. So are you kidding me? I don't want him on any team. He shouldn't be in the NBA. He can't score. But apparently Joel Embiid came out yesterday and said that that's like borderline disrespectful. The whole situation's a mess. I don't really blame anyone in particular, but it's just, I mean, it's a gross. The NBA, like as much as I say the NBA or the MLB be better, and like be more controversial. Like I wish the MLB acted like the NBA and the NBA acted like the MLB, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's weird.
Sort of.
And then
Sort of.
I don't know. How do you feel about this? I think I put some. I know I did. I put some money down yesterday on the Blazers to win the West at plus 1,500. I just feel like, now hear me out. I just feel like this is Dame's like last shot in Portland to get there. I don't think they'll win the championship, but we've seen him try to do it in the playoffs in the past, and it clearly doesn't work. But I feel like he's got that another level that could get them to the Western Conference Finals, and then you never know what happens. So I just think he can do a lot of it by himself. So I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't hate it since it's like you get great odds. But at the same time, like I really do think it's still a possibility Dame gets traded. And if that's the case, I don't like it at all because Dame is the one that single-handedly carried that team. And CJ McCollum, while he's great, he can't be Dame.
This is why I hate you. I did not even think about that whatsoever when I made this bet. So that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to go to New York or Boston. I'm going to have this bet laying there, like, all right, Portland. Maybe I'll call. I got
a Portland fan.
Yeah, like maybe I'll have to call my bookie and be like, hey, I got a new bookie. Be like, hey, man, like I didn't know that was going to happen. And he's going to be like, no, you can't have your money fucking back, you idiot. Maybe you should have taken that into consideration in the beginning, but I didn't. So, and that's why we're here. All right. To get to, we'll start with college football like we always do. Question for you, Tom. Is this the best college football slate we've had so far this year?
I'm pretty sure. I don't. So far, yes. And it might be the best regular season slate that we'll see. Yeah, and I got to say, one of the main reasons I love it is, like, I think you get Cincinnati or whatever, like 2. And then one of the SEC games is at 3:30. So you just flip back and forth between those. And I think the other one's late. And then I think Michigan, Wisconsin is on at noon. So I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. Oh, and I didn't tell you, I'll be up even earlier. For some reason, NBC Sports in America decided that the most popular soccer team probably in the world, they scheduled them for 7:30 in the morning on Saturday morning. So I will be up at 6:45, ready to go. I don't know if you saw it during the week. Some magical things happened. The Reds went down 1-0, scored, tied it up in the second half. And then in stoppage time, in the 5th minute of stoppage time, Ronaldo scored. We win. We're great. We play Everton this week. It's one of the derbies. I don't know which one it is. There's lots of derbies because all the cities are literally 5 miles apart, but whatever. But I'll be up. Yeah, like I said, very much looking forward to this weekend. Yeah, so let's get into it. I'll start with my Heisman. The Heisman is usually we have some sort of like a top 3 guys at this point going forward. We don't this year. It's pretty wide open in my opinion. But I think whoever wins the Alabama Ole Miss game. So if it's Bryce Young at Alabama, I think I think he takes the commanding lead in the Heisman race at this moment. And then same thing said for Matt Corral from Ole Miss. If Matt Corral and Ole Miss can beat Alabama and Matt Corral can like make he could have his Heisman moment on Saturday. Yeah, so that's whoever wins that game, I think has the edge going forward. The other 2 I really was thinking about CJ Verdell at Oregon. They've the Pac-12 is horrible, but whatever. I still think Chris Olave, just because he is clearly the best receiver and he's so smooth, and I love him. And then I put JT Daniels. I don't know why I put that. JT Daniels just going to win the Heisman. He's terrible. He's not winning Heisman. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, there was a chance he wasn't even going to play this week. He's always hurt. My power rankings.
Yep.
Pretty similar. Bama, Georgia. Bama 1, Georgia 2, Oregon 3, Iowa 4, Oklahoma 5, 6 Cincinnati, 7 Penn State, 8 Notre Dame, 9 Ohio State, 10 Florida. So without further ado, let's get into let's start with Michigan at Wisconsin. Tom, your thoughts on Michigan at Wisconsin? All right, I'll take it.
I sat down the other day. I was at a.
We are lagging.
What happened?
Keep going. We are lagging. Just keep going.
What? Oh, okay. I sat down the other day and watched that Michigan. Who'd they play? Notre Dame game? Or no, I'm sorry, Wisconsin Notre Dame game. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. I sat down and I watched that, and Wisconsin imploded, as everyone saw, and like it was just horrific almost to watch how terrible it was and how bad the game ended up becoming. Obviously, Notre Dame was the better team, but it was just it was very difficult to watch from a football fan perspective because I didn't really root for either team in that game, even though I guess I favored Notre Dame because it's like closer. I guess I don't know. But at the same time, I really don't believe in Michigan. I don't think Michigan's all that good. And if Wisconsin can hang in there up until, the last 2 minutes of the game where they throw 2 picks and the return for a touchdown or whatever versus Notre Dame, I actually like seeing maybe Wisconsin in this one, maybe able to cover whatever spread it is or maybe potentially pulling out.
Their spread, it's 1.5, I believe. I think I put.
All right. Well, then the spread's basically null.
Yeah, it's basically a pick 'em. But yeah, I like Cincinnati here. I'm totally on board with you. I'm not buying into Michigan. Also, for future references, we don't ever mention the last week's Notre Dame Wisconsin game ever again. It didn't happen, so whatever. Unfortunately for Wisconsin, it looks like Graham Mertz isn't the guy. I don't know if they're going to go with a backup, but I do think the leash is going to be pretty tight on Mertz because I mean, you can't just start out this like with these devastating losses like this. You have to make something changes. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, that's the definition of insanity. So they have to do something. But I also agree with you. I am nowhere near sold on Michigan. I think they're same old Michigan. I have a hot take that I will actually reveal later about the Big Ten. But yeah, I don't think it's Michigan year. They keep talking about Cade McNamara. Their offense, I mean, Ohio State's defense, like, I'm not even going to talk about Ohio State. I don't even know why I said that really. But Wisconsin's defense is legit, and Rutgers' defense is – Wisconsin's defense is better than Rutgers. And in that second half, it wasn't – when Michigan played Rutgers in that second half, Rutgers dominated them at the line of scrimmage and everywhere else. So I agree. I'm all over Michigan. The over-under is I just had it up, Justin. Come on, get it together.
Oh wait, do you mean you're all over Wisconsin or all over Michigan in that one?
I'm all over Wisconsin plus
okay.
minus 1.5. I'm all over
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin's favored.
What?
They're at home.
Yeah, but they're unranked. And Michigan's 14.
I think we're at the point now that basically like positions 12 through 25 are just going to be it should just be 13A, 13B, 13C, 13D, 13. Yeah, they're just going to switch every week. I was a little bit surprised too, and I got another shocker for you. Cincinnati's favored as well.
That I'm not surprised at.
But yeah,
Cincinnati's a good football team, man.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that one next. But I'm all over Wisconsin. I won't probably bet this game. I'll probably stay away from it. It's just I just don't have a feel for. I agree. I think Wisconsin wins the game, but I don't have a feel for if this could be a high scoring game or not. I think it's going to be low. I believe the over. I put it on here. Where is it? Over under is 50, and No, it's not. I don't know what it is. It's not on here. That was
You're asking over or under for which game?
Cincinnati or not Cincinnati, Michigan, Wisconsin.
All right. Let me look and see.
I'm trying to.
My line is. I have the over under is 43.5.
Michigan and Wisconsin?
Yep. And I also have 2 points on the spread there.
I'm trying to find it on my bookie too, or not on my bookie.
Yeah.
Bookie site. Michigan, Wisconsin. I also have 2 as well. I'm still going Wisconsin -2. Wow, that's a tough. That's a tough total. That's tough. I won't touch it.
Extremely tough.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch either one of these things. But the over under is 43.5. You're right. The over under 50.5 is for different game I was looking at. But yeah, I agree. I'm all over Wisconsin, and I'll take Wisconsin, and won't be touching the over. But that's about it for me. All right, let's then we'll go to 2 SEC games. So we got Ole Miss versus Alabama. I believe Bama's favored by 14.5. That's a lot of points. It's the second highest total ever for a game a game between 2 SEC teams. Last I saw it was at 79, close to 79.5. It's 79.5 now. Like I said, Mississippi's plus 14.5. Name one team who holds the record.
I have never.
Name one of the teams in that game Name one of the teams in the game for the. What was I talking about? Where was I?
Alabama, Mississippi.
Yeah, I know, but whatever. Okay, keep going.
I was just going to say, I also have 79 as the over-under. I don't think I've ever seen a game that the over-under has been 79.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So I said that's the second highest in SEC history. Can you name one of the teams who played it in the game that was I believe it was 80 over-under, the highest ever. Can you name one of the teams?
Is it a specific SEC, like either West or East, or like can it be any SEC team?
Any SEC team.
All right, I'm gonna go with A&M. When Johnny Manziel was there, I feel like the over under on one of those teams could have been an 80 over under.
I don't think you're right. Missouri is one of them. I have to look up the other one either. I don't think it's Texas A&M. I want to say it's like Arkansas. It's very weird. I'll look it up. Yeah, I remember someone saying it's very weird, very very weird.
So are they expecting Alabama to have a week like Georgia had last week and put up 62 points, and then Mississippi's like, oh yeah, we could get 10 points.
What I wrote down about this game is it would not shock me if this game goes into overtime, and it would not shock me if Alabama was up 35-3 at the end of the first half. So this is another game that I'm just going to sit back and enjoy because I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. And let's just face it, 95% of the time, I either bet or against Nick Saban, bet against or bet with, I lose. So Saban doesn't like me. I would never play on his team, so he doesn't like me. But yeah, and like I said, going to the pick, 14.5 is a lot of points in college football. And if there's one thing that Ole Miss can do, they can score. So I think I am doing this one. No, I'm not taking this. I'm not going to put this one in. But if I were to, I like I like Ole Miss plus 14.5. And then my personal advice would be the under. But just because I say that, I know it's going to go over now. So I don't know.
Well, and I clicked into the game on my BetMGM app just to see, because usually they justify, at least on this app, their over under total by how many points will Mississippi score as the over under, and how many points Alabama will score for their over under. So like they have the overall over under, and then each team's over under. The one for Mississippi is 32.5, so they're expecting them to get 33 points, and they're expecting Alabama to put up 48 points because the over-under is 47.5 for Alabama. So they're saying that Mississippi's going to throw for or score 5 touchdowns, and Alabama's going to score 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, thank you.
That's crazy.
Thank you for explaining that to me, because that's also on. I did get a new bookie. It's an actual person, but he runs his own site. And there was a column on that side for like the over under after the regular over under. I had no idea what it was, but now I do. So thank you.
Well, the other thing it could be is like for the half or for the quarter. So it depends. Mine literally just says like how many points will Mississippi record, how many points will Alabama record.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So with that being said, though, I like Ole Miss plus 14.5. I think Alabama probably wins by 10 to 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that, Tom?
I'm trying to like come up because like this is one of the weirder games that I've ever like witnessed, I guess, because like I said, I've never seen a game that high because I don't really pay attention to college football. Like, and I haven't watched enough Ole Miss or honestly Alabama. I just know Alabama's Alabama. It won't surprise me, like you said, it won't surprise me if Bama runs away with it. But if Ole Miss puts up points like you say they do, like that might be one of the best games that we'll ever get for college football. Like it'll remind me of that A&M game, and I forget who they played, where they went into like 7 or 8 overtimes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I do.
But like if Ole Miss can score like that, and they can do that on Bama, like and we get a game that's like that caliber, that might be the best college football game of all time. It could end up being.
Yeah, it's one of the highest. I think it's probably the highest in history. The highest total in the national championship game history was in 2014 when Ohio State played Oregon. I believe that was 75 then, and I think it hit. But yeah,
that was the Marcus Mariota year, I think.
Yeah, that was. His receivers did not help him out at all that day.
Nope.
Go back and watch that. Go back and watch highlights of that game. Oregon should have been up like 28-7, 78-14 at half.
Yeah,
idiots. All right, the other big SEC game, and I have do you want to go first? If you are, go first. If not, I have a little.
I'm trying to honestly find the line on my app, so why don't you introduce it?
All right, I will introduce. Obviously, we got Arkansas coming off a humongous win over Texas A&M last weekend. Pretty much dominated them. Texas A&M didn't play that well. But still, it was a beating. Now, my hot take is relating to this game. I don't think we're overreacting about how good Arkansas is. I think they're very good. But on the other hand, I don't know how good Georgia is. Yes, they've been dominating teams. They've been dominating teams. I mean, they dominated Vanderbilt. But where was I? That first that first game versus Clemson, obviously everyone thought that Clemson or Georgia's defensive line was incredible, and they are incredible. But we're looking back right now, how good is Clemson? Because they just lost to Georgia Tech. They're pretty much guaranteed to be out of the playoff. So we don't know how good of a win that is. So honestly, Arkansas has been playing really well. The total, or not the total, spread is Arkansas is getting 18.5. I'm taking that and running, already locked in for me, taking that and running. I don't know. Did you have the total? Did you find the total or anything? Because either way,
I didn't. I was looking for it.
Either way, in a game like this, I'm probably just gonna bet against the spread just because I'm pretty confident about it. But yeah. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I love the 18.5 here too for Arkansas. And one thing that I do have to point out, which isn't the greatest for Georgia, I guess. Yes, they have the number 1 ranked defense as of right now. I think it is of the 130 teams. But when you look at the 4 teams that they've played Vanderbilt recently, or last week, it was the 111th ranked offense. The week before they played, who was it? Was it South Carolina or Clemson? Or was it that other school, UAB?
UAB. They played UAB
in
either Atlanta or Denver. Yes, you're correct. Nice memory.
So they played Vanderbilt last week for the 111th offense in the league of the 130 teams. UAB is the highest offense they've played at 76. Then the week before, I think it was Clemson, where they played the 119th offense out of 130 teams. And opening weekend, they played South Carolina, who was the 115th ranked offense of 130 teams. So they have not played a top 100 defense other than UAB, or excuse me, top 100 offense other than UAB. And they haven't played a top 50 offense. And now they're playing the 8th best team in the country at this point. That's the only thing that I have to point out where I'm like, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to watch this because they're going to think it's kind of boring, but I think football is kind of evolved and people actually do like this kind of stuff. The biggest matchup I'm looking forward to on Saturday is Arkansas's big, tough, mean, large offensive lineman against Georgia's the 2 nose tackles and whoever they play on the outside because they switch it up with different linebackers. I mean, whoever can control line scrimmage is going to win this game. But yeah, I really am looking forward to, because if Sam Pittman came into Arkansas, I think 2 years ago, and can turn them into a team that is beating good teams, that would be one of the best turnarounds in college football history. I mean, the year before he got there, I think they had lost 10 straight ACC games. So, yeah, not ACC. Arkansas, SEC. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then on to Arkansas, Ole Miss, Bama, Michigan. All right, we got Cincinnati, Notre Dame. Cincinnati is also -1.5. I got the over under at 50.5. Yeah, I'll just throw this one out and comment whenever you want. I really, really, really like Cincinnati as the team. I think they're a better team than Notre Dame, and I think they will play better. However, I often wonder if this might be too big of a spotlight for Luke Fickell, but I do love Luke Fickell, so I'm fine with it either way. It's going to be the biggest game in UC program history, and I would say that it's not even remotely close. It's the biggest game in their history by far. And I have I'll just say my 2 hot takes from earlier. One of them is from earlier. I think Ohio State is getting back in the playoff this year. I think we're seeing what's happening around them, and now all Ohio State has to do is go through a pretty weak Big Ten to make the conference championship game. Yeah, and then my other hot take is if Cincinnati can beat Notre Dame this week, not only do they deserve a spot, and then obviously finish undefeated, not only do they deserve a spot in the playoff, I think they would get a spot in the playoff. Simply because this year has already been so crazy. Like I said, we talked about, or you haven't really talked about it, but I do because it was crazy. We talk a lot about the 2007 season. And, and how much chaos. I mean, there was a time when University of South Florida was number 1 in the country. The big winner, and this goes off of that, but the big winner of the last 2 weekends, in my opinion, especially last weekend, was the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now because they have an undefeated, they get to play an undefeated Notre Dame team that it's proved in itself legitimately kind of where they've been lately, which is like, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in the country, making the playoff, barely kind of missing it, getting outclassed in the playoffs. I think people are seeing that. And I think it would be also easier with a year like this for the committee members to justify putting in a Cincinnati, because then you can bring up Georgia's probably going to lose to Alabama in the SEC championship or vice versa. So, you know what I mean?
Well, and like giving them a spot, even if it's the 4th spot and they have to play Alabama or Georgia, whichever one ends up on top. Because isn't there an SEC championship where they're going to have to play or something? I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, right? It's going to be Alabama, Georgia. I don't think they play in the regular season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they play in the SEC championship. One of them's going to have to lose, but it's going to be a good game. I might have to take back what I said about that Arkansas Georgia game, or no, excuse me, the Ole Miss Bama game. That Georgia Bama might be the best game that we're going to see this season if it ends up coming to fruition.
I disagree.
I know you do. You don't like quarterbacks in Georgia, but
no. Exciting is the wrong word. Exciting, because I don't think it'll be very exciting. I think, I think Bryce Young will have trouble passing on them. They don't have, for the first time in a long time, Alabama doesn't have that dominant big running back. They don't have Najee Harris. They obviously don't have Mark Ingram anymore. They never don't have Derrick Henry, and it's clearly, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think because once one of those two teams lose, like they're gonna get dropped down a peg potentially, and so like whichever team is number 1, like saying, okay, Cincinnati, you got your shot at the best team in the country, like kind of like how Notre Dame got it last year, where they got the 4 seed over who ended up finishing 5 last year.
Well, which conference?
I forget completely. That's why I asked. Crap.
All right, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah. There was another team that finished 5 last year that I was like, okay, they probably should have got in over Notre Dame, but they gave it to Notre Dame just to be a little different.
Texas A&M.
Yeah. Did
Texas
they?
A&M. Yeah, Texas A&M. Texas A&M
5?
Yeah, Texas A&M finished 5.
Wow. I completely forgot about that. Not gonna
I believe Mond had a really, really good bowl game.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, like I think they gave that to Notre Dame even after they lost to Clemson in the championship or whatever. Like I could see Cincinnati kind of getting that bump where it's like, okay, we want a new team in there. We want to, promote the smaller school, give them a shot kind of thing. So I don't know.
Then, like I said, this would be a perfect year because we've seen the chaos. And then, I mean, I'm not like ignorant. Like I know that if Cincinnati gets to the 4 seed and ends up playing Alabama, they're going to get killed. But like I said, it's a win-win versus the committee. First, they can say because of all the chaos this year, they deserve to get in as undefeated. And then when they lose, the committee's going to be like, yes, that's why we don't put non-Power 5 teams in. So it's a win-win. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited for that. It's also a little bit interesting because Cincinnati's defensive coordinator last year is now the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. So it'll be interesting. I have not. So yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be fun to see how it all shakes out. That's for sure.
I can't. It's been a good season thus far, and it should be better this week. Although, like I said, I look at those 2 SEC games and I'm like, yeah, they should be relatively close. They should. They're both, all 4 of them are very good. But then again, the last thing I want to do is turn on the TV at 3:00 and it's 48-7 Alabama with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Like that just sucks.
Yeah.
Like it's like God, like like why did I even like? Because I don't know if you do this, but then half the time when you show up start watching a game, like in the middle of it, you just more pay attention to the replays of what had happened in the past. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how they got here. That's how. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then like, you missed a touchdown or something. But yeah. Any other games you specifically want to talk about?
Let me look over the games one more time. There was something that caught my eye potentially. Where was it?
There's an SEC or AC Big Ten matchup tonight between Maryland and Iowa. I think it's going to be a good test to see how if Iowa is for real. Maryland is not the greatest, but they have Tugliavoa, and they have Jarrett, Raheem Jarrett, who was a 5-star 2 years ago. But yeah.
I'm trying. I saw a game, and I'm pissed I can't find it.
No worries. All right, so I will. I'll read off my picks. I decided to lower my card. Not going to be doing as many picks just because then the money's disappearing faster and faster. So that's fun.
Oh.
But no, it's really not that bad. All right, so I think I got 1, 2, 3. I think I got 5 today. 5 in the NFL. Okay, let's rock. So, like me and Tom talked about, I have Arkansas plus 18.5 versus Georgia. I got a unit on that. This one, I think you'll agree with me, Tom. NC State versus Louisiana Tech. I love Louisiana Tech plus 19. This is such a it's not a look ahead, but it's such a trap game just because they come off that huge win at home versus Clemson. It's playing LA Tech team that, mind you, has already played 2 top 25 teams and stuck with them all. Weren't blown out once. I really, really like LA Tech at plus 19. I freaked out yesterday because I didn't bet it right when I saw it, and I waited 5 minutes, and I went back on and refreshed it, and the bookie got taken offline. It got taken offline, so I was like, "Oh my god, the numbers must be moving. They must have recognized this was a mistake." But nope, everything stayed the same. I was great. So awesome. Next one, I went way off the radar for a lot of these. I love Central Michigan plus 1 versus Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio not only is 2 things. This is a PSA to all high school football fans out there, or just fans that love fun. MACtion is coming back, I believe, pretty soon on weeknights, and the MAC might be worse than it's been in the last 20 years, which means there's going to be so many MACtion plays. It's going to be incredible, so definitely get excited for that. But Central Michigan, I love them plus 1 at Miami. Miami is terrible. They're just terrible. They're not very good. They haven't stayed close in any of their games, but you never know. And then I'm riding my ponies. I have Western Kentucky plus 11 at Michigan State. Western Kentucky came through for me last week. No repeat offenders this week except for Arkansas, but whatever. And then obviously in the Cincinnati Notre Dame game, Cincinnati minus 1.5. And I think that's it, unless you have anything about the picks?
I do not. That sounds like a solid card to me.
All right. Well, you want to do the Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
We can.
Why not? Let's do it.
All right. Well, all right. We're going to do the Mount Rushmore of one-hit wonder athletes or one-hit wonders in sports. I'll let you go first, so go ahead. Tom?
I would like to I'm trying to think of I don't know if this technically counts as a one-off per se, but I would argue that Chris Johnson was more of a one-off player than most people want to say he is or isn't. Because like while he ended up having a decent career, his entire career was based off of the one season where he went for 2,000 yards.
I feel that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Mine is Jeremy Lin. Love Jeremy Lin. Just captivated the whole city of New York for a good month there in the Garden. So I love that pick for me. Jeremy Lin all day.
Yeah, Linsanity, man.
This is how I kind of came up with this. I was taking a shower this morning. I was just like thinking about all this stuff, and I was thinking about like weird stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah,
I'm trying to think like because a lot of like when I like looking at one-offs, right? Like I want to say like, oh, this one season was great and it was an outlier season in his career. But at the same time, like I can't do that. You know, like I want to say this one season with the Patriots, Randy Moss was amazing, but then he never recreated it again. But like Randy Moss was such a great receiver in general, so you can't say him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm gonna go with Tim Tebow. I guess his NFL career, not his college career.
He was that's the only reason I came to this topic idea was just because of Tim Tebow, and then I thought about myself. It's not, and I was like, it's not. He's not really this guy, but you're totally right. He is. So go on. Yeah, that was honestly how I thought.
His NFL career, not his college career. Like his college career, he was great for. I think it was all 3 years, right? He started as a freshman.
Yes.
I think he should be along with is it Arch Griffin or something? I think he should be like the only other person with 2 Heismans. Like he got absolutely robbed by Sam Bradford for one of the Heismans there. But talking his NFL career, like he literally flashed out. Like it was terrible. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mount Rushmore. Okay. In the same reasons that you went with Tebow in a weird way. So this can also be like, and I think you got this, but this can also be like an extended extended time range on one-hit wonders. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey climbed to the top of UFC in probably a year and a half. And by the time it was 7 months later, she like could never fight again. Holly Holm destroyed her. Ronda Rousey, as much shit as she talked, just couldn't back it up.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like she was on top of the world, and then she was gone. You know?
Yeah. So,
going over to college basketball for me. All right. Going over to college basketball for me. Jimmer is, I think, the definition of a one-hit wonder.
Yep.
Like he had the one amazing run in the March Madness tournament when I think he went 10 or 12 overall and then did absolutely nothing with it.
I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible. I just had this guy up. Oh yeah, okay. This is literal one-hit wonders, like happened once. But you'll remember his name for the rest of your life. David Tyree.
Yeah.
With the catch in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. What a catch. That's all I can say about it.
What a bastard. What a man. What a man.
What a catch.
I think you got
all right.
two more. You got two more.
Two more. Jeez. So this guy had like a solid career, I guess. But I know you said one-hit wonders, but he was like kind of the biggest thing in college basketball for like a year or three. I'm not specifically sure. This is one of my like favorite athletes of all time. Didn't really pan out as much in the NBA. He still, like I said, has a solid career, but Pete Maravich, man, I mean, he was insane in college. He averaged 44 points a game, and is the all-time leading scorer with like almost 4,000 points. In his 69-70 season, he averaged 44 and a half points a game, which is the highest total in the NCAA record currently in a single season.
So you saw that tweet too?
What tweet?
The tweet going around about the guy you just said?
P. Maravich? I did not see a tweet about him.
I don't know if I believe you. Okay, keep going.
What I did was I looked up best single season athletes in sports, and I'm like, yeah, Pete had a great season that one year when he was averaging that, and he I know I said like he scored 1,400 points in a season almost. Which is the NCAA record. And then he scored 50 or more on 10 occasions and 60 or more 3 times in college. Like that, while he was more of like a college guy and like was good for his entirety of his college career, like that season was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I would like to know what tweet you were talking about,
okay.
though.
I will find it. I'll send it to you. This is more literal too as well. I'm gonna go with Josh Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a one-hit wonder if I've ever seen one.
He literally had one, and it wasn't even a great season. It was an incredible season, and then he just fell off the face of the earth. So
he's on the Chiefs now.
I know, and you know what?
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Chiefs fans. Like, like that's awesome for you guys. But the fans out there for other teams are like, "Oh, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. This is bad. Like, there's no way you should sign with them." They said the same thing about Sherman signing with the Bucks.
It's not even like.
Yeah. First of all, they're old now. I know we all think of them as still superstars, but they're not. They're old now, and yeah, I mean, and B, like, what kind of effect is like that person going to have on the team? I don't know, but
Sherman will have an actual effect, but like Gordon, what's he going to do? He's going to play the big red zone threat. They have Kelsey for that. Is he going to be the guy to go downfield? They have Tyree and Miko for that.
Yeah.
Like it's not as bad as what everyone's saying.
I did forget to, you know what? I'll give my weekend NFL parlay, and I'll give my picks on Sunday with Jake. So get this in. It's an NFL parlay. My Let's Rock parlay. I always say Let's Rock. Might change it to my Cool Beans parlay. This one's all right. Here we go. Washington football team -1.5 versus the Steelers. Green Bay -6.5 versus the Steelers. Okay, no, that was wrong. Washington football team -1.5 versus the Falcons. Green Bay -6.5 versus the Steelers. Cards, Rams over 55, and Chiefs money line. I also am telling people out there also bet the Chiefs -7. I would get that in before it goes up because I wish I would have gotten it on Monday where it was at -5. But then it was going to go up. The Chiefs are not happy, and Patrick Mahomes might throw for 75 touchdowns. But yeah, definitely check that out. I think I got plus. Yeah, I don't know how much I got, but it's a good payout if it hits. So like I said, it is the Chiefs money line, the Cardinals and the Rams over 55, Green Bay -6.5 versus the Steelers, and the Washington football team -1.5 versus the Falcons. All right. Any last words, Tom? Other than wait, make sure you tune us on Sunday. Like I said, we'll have Jake on as a guest to do some picks and probably even talk a little fantasy football. But make sure you come out and join us. Luckily, I will not have a soccer game on Sunday morning at 7:30, so I'll be very awake, I'm sure, and pleasant like I always am in the morning. So, Tom, any last words?
Let's go Dogs.
That's right.
Oh.